important facts and hit all the points, but really just, I don't know, it's all about summary, I guess. That's really what he wants, but then he doesn't want a summary, so I'm always really confused.
Well, I guess if we put it out there, like, you know, like say there's a 4-point section and there's a 2-point section, and we're over on our pages or whatever like that, we'll go back and take it and just kind of balance it out between the two. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. It's just stupid, but it's about, I mean, some of the things about colleges is just about, you know, working with a teacher to get the grade. So, I mean, if that's what we got to do, we got to do it.
Yeah. Oh, my grade is muted now too. I don't know why, but it is. So maybe he's making it worse. I don't know. Probably is.
Well, didn't you say you resubmitted it or something?
No, that was the first one.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
Yeah. So what was something else? No, I wish I had the comments now. No, I don't have the comments. That's kind of annoying. Because before I had the comments to what he said. Something else. So I don't know. Yeah. So just make sure that we keep track of if it's a 4-point, a 3-point, a 2-point, and then we, it needs to be longer if it's a 4-point than a 3-point or a 2-point. And then just, if there's something asking you to compare and analyze, like this week it was the economic freedom, then it's got to have data.
Okay.
It can't just be well, this was higher and that was lower, So it's got to have this was 12.5% and this was 14%. And we can see from this that blah, blah, blah. And then another thing that he really touched on with the first paper was absolutes. We shouldn't have any absolutes. He went through and highlighted every time that we were this is what it was, So everything should be well, it was a 68 on the freedom index or whatever, not the freedom index, the Hofstede dimensions, And so we'd be so people are really care about this. He's well, that's not true. And he had some point, because it's mid to high range. So there's two sides. A lot of people will do this, but a lot of people will also do this.
See, and you know how I looked at that? I looked at that totally differently. And I mean, I really don't care. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't really care. But I was just looking over that too, and I was like, okay, I get that it's on a scale of 0 to 100, but if the regional average is in the 70s and Poland's score is 68, to me that's on the higher end of it then, because your scale is coming down. So I just saw that completely different than he did, or maybe everybody else. I don't know, but I was to me that was higher because anyway.
The way I took it was it was individual. So if it scored 50, that means the country was split in half. That's kind of how I thought about it,
Okay. Yeah, I saw that really different. I see all that stuff so arbitrary, and then they try to put a number with it, and I'm like, okay, so it's not arbitrary now, but they're putting a number to it, and the whole thing is just kind of stupid. And I mean, I'm just this is business, so how is this not absolute? Business is all about absolute.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I think the difference with this kind of assignment is that really it's about we're advising, we're not giving people absolutes, So something he said too is that he's the vice president. So everything that when we make recommendations, it should be something like we recommend that our company,
Okay.
And so things like that because we're writing this paper to him.
Okay.
You got to think about if this was a real company paper, would I just say, oh, this was a little higher or this and this? No, I would get down to specifics, give people numbers because people want numbers and facts. And
so be more concrete in what we recommend.
Yep.
But don't be absolute.
And then just some nitpicky things because he's super nitpicky. Ridiculous. If your paragraphs are 10 sentences long, break them up. He always makes a comment about, oh, this one's too long. Break this up or something,
Okay.
Gosh. What really frustrated me on the first paper about his grading, Davis, is you put a quote and you did it perfectly where you put the colon and then you skip down at the lines and you put your 2 or 3 line quote and he's like, no, this isn't right.
Right.
I almost freaked. I was like, are you kidding me? That's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. I think he's looking at it from a very business perspective because, I know the styles of papers that I have to write are completely different. In fact, they don't want absolutes. They want, generalized view. You're analyzing something and giving it as absolute basics, and he's wanting it I don't know. It's such a different system. So I'm really struggling with the way that he actually wants us to write the paper. Did he have any comments on my sections for this lesson?
No, you actually got 100 on all of yours. They were perfect, he said.
Wow, that's surprising. Actually,
So we
thought
did
I
a
was
lot. We did a lot better with citation this time, but I think it's kind of like in my mind, like oversight. Like
Yeah.
even if you don't think you need to cite something, like if there's a paragraph, well, there was one thing is like I think maybe Daniel is it you wrote like a paragraph and it was totally like your ideas, you like government things that you just summarized, and he was like, well, this needs to have a citation, but he didn't dock you for it. But just so I after all my things, I just put a citation, even if I got it from there or not.
I see.
As long as it's like if I'm writing about Hofstede cultural dimensions, like I just put Hofstede cultural dimension 2018. Because it's not going to hurt.
No. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys noticed?
Well, I was just saying, because I was just talking to Andrew before everybody else came on about this week, about how there's no good way to break it up to where we each do our own sections and then, come together at the end of the week.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to do more correlation, like at least through like 2 people, for different sections. Because like, for instance, if I were to take 9.1 or 9.2, well, then 9.3 is all about the research that I did on 9.1. But if I do all the 9s, then that's worth 7 points, or not even more than that, 10 points. So that wouldn't be good. So we're gonna have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, let me bring up the sheet.
And then I didn't know there's a course outcome at the very end. Have we had that every week? And I've just missed it?
Yes. Yeah, it's always been there.
Oops.
So pretty much it's 1 point. So assignments always worth 20, and then that's the 1 point. So it's kind of like it pretty much just reflects your grade. If you got like a 90%, then he gives you a 0.9 type thing.
Oh, so it's something we have to write on.
No, there's no.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So do you guys all have the rubric pulled up, or do you want me just to share it on the screen?
I have it up.
I'm trying to pull it up. It's just going to go.
Well, now I'm nervous. That's kind of good with the 18.9. Now he's changing it again. Great. I'm going to complain if he does. I'm going to be like, that's bullcrap.
I just know for a fact that this class is going to affect my grade point average, and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, it is what it is. I'm a senior. I'll be okay. It's one class.
I'm not. I'm going to be so mad. Well, we still have, even if we got we still have a 90. Well, I don't know how you guys have all done, but with this, I still have a 97.
I missed my quiz last week. I was like, the deadline blew my mind, so I just I was so mad, because that's like easy points right there.
Okay, is everybody onto the sheet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, kind of like what Allison was saying, it's going to be kind of hard to break up. So obviously, 2 people should take 9. I think, maybe even 2 people. I don't know. That's weird because it's like 6 and 4.
I'm fine. I had a international economics class that dealt more with the politics of it and everything. So we kind of focused a bit on the WTO and like the most favored nation. If anybody else is interested in it, you can go for it. But I wouldn't mind taking that part. 8.1.
Which section is that?
8.1. 8.2.
Yeah,
Daniel,
I was more looking at section 9. I would like to do some part of 9. I just don't know which part of it to take.
I was looking at 9 as well. I can take 9.1 and 9.2.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah, that's fine, and that works out better for you because you can do your part, and then maybe I can kind of look over it. And as you said, you had more time at the beginning of the week.
Yeah. Daniel, you always take the parts I don't want, so thank you.
Right?
You're welcome. You guys always take parts I don't want, so it all works out.
Okay, so let's see here. Guess that leaves me.
Well, we've got Rachel too, right?
Yeah, well, somebody still needs to be the editor, and I can't technically be the editor.
So I get.
And she was already editor the week before, so I mean maybe he would let that slide. But if anything I can edit this week.
Well, why don't you just put your name on edit, and I'll do most of the work.
If we do that, then you probably wouldn't need to write anything at that point, because I feel like editing is a pretty big task.
Well, I still got to write some things because.
Well, yeah, there's lots of sections.
Because I'm not down as editor. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
So which section did you want to take, Daniel?
I was thinking 8.1 and 8.2, if that works.
So why don't you just take 8.1? Well, no, yeah, take 8.1, 8.2. I'll take 8.3. Hold on. Just define non-tariff rate of barriers and listen, define, discuss, and non-tariff rates. That would. Well, I want to take 8.4. I guess Rachel can take 8.3, but then that's kind of off because some of you guys have like 6 points, and that leaves me and Rachel with like 3 and 2.
Now, like when you edit, like how has the process been? Because if it isn't too like crazy where I gotta like communicate with him the whole time, and I'm trying to set up time, like I could seriously edit this week. It's not a big deal.
Well, and that's the thing is it is a little crazy. I wouldn't say it's like the craziest, but and maybe it's just because I'm super anal, and I'm really frustrated because even though I'm super anal, like we're still getting 19s, you know, and so like I've never had a teacher nitpick like this before.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Well, we can do something where you guys are kind of co-editing, but then you just put one person down. You know, I mean, Daniel can have a go at it, and then you know, Andrew maybe can do some backup. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we could do that. Maybe like have Rachel do 8.2 and 8.3. Andrew, you get 8.4. I'll get 8.1.
Yeah, that probably even works out better because that's 3 and 4. That's pretty close. I mean, this is the only hard part about editing is when someone gives you part of a section that you just know isn't going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that everybody really like takes time and does their part. I know everyone's crazy busy, but you know, it's frustrating when you get something and you're like, crap, I know I have to enter all this stuff and to fix this section.
Yeah. Well, and that was me last week, so I apologize, Andrew.
Oh, no, you're fine. Everyone's had problems.
I've had that
I'm learning
myself, so.
I'm gonna get at this earlier this week, and I think also what threw me off last week is having the time that I had set aside to work on the project for that week was taken up that night by having to redo the one from the previous week.
Yeah, that
pushed my time out. You know what I'm saying? I only have like, you know, I'm doing my internship and everything this.
No,
and so I'm like, it's like a certain amount of time you have each day to do the work for that class. So that's what threw me off. So I will definitely, you know, get on this earlier this week.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like the thing is, I think, you know, part of the problem with last week is we had someone that were in really early in the week, and we need to make sure we get them in earlier, I think, because then, you know, I don't think the editor should really truly be editing everything. In my eyes, the editor should just put it together,
right?
You know, slap a couple things on it and turn it in. So we all need to make sure that not just our section is right, but that everyone's section is right.
Well, and also what I would like is, you know, for instance, Andrew, if like you get my stuff and you were like, oh, this isn't going to work, I'd rather hear like, what isn't going to work about it and give me a chance to fix it so you're not having to fix it, you know, and if we do that earlier, then that makes that more opportunity for me to fix my own crap, you know? Yeah.
The only reason I did it is just because it was, I was doing it on Saturday and I didn't even realize it till Saturday.
And I'm not talking about last week. Yeah. I have like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings like ever. I'm like, we're all in this together, just trying to get through our classes. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not offended at all. I just am saying like, you know, moving forward, maybe that's what would work better for all of us.
And I think that's true, but you know, we need to make sure that we get to do that. We need to make sure we get like our papers in, our assignments in by like Thursday.
Right.
Because like having to go back and edit everything on like a Saturday, you know, there's just not enough time to be like, hey, can you change this? Because sometimes people don't get that message for a couple hours.
Was there stuff you didn't get last week until Saturday?
Yeah, there was one person that didn't get me till Saturday. I'm not going to say who it was, but.
Right. Okay. I'm just trying to understand. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just not that the editing job's difficult, but, you know, they have to worry about the overall and kind of have to wait on everybody else.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, we need to do this Thursday if at all possible, and if not, we need to communicate that we're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I have co-editors of Daniel and Andrew, and then I have Daniel down for 8.1, Rachel's 8.2 and 8.3, Andrew's 8.4, Davis is taking 9.1 and 9.2, and I'm taking 9.3.
Yeah, and I already made it. Did you guys get the Google Doc I made already?
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So that just has all the sections there in the description. And so when you guys are done, do you guys mind? This is just something for the editor, erasing the description and putting the title kind of on it. Something like analysis, blah blah. I don't know, whatever it is.
Okay.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Add a title to your section.
Yeah, so like when your section is in the final, it should say like A.1, like most favored nations, and then like
Okay.
8.2, most favored nation, define and discuss. 8.3, blah blah blah.
So what I found pretty easy, I don't know if other people were doing this as well, but on the Google Doc, I just copy and pasted each of my sections into that, so that way all the editor has to do is so that way they can still read, like for instance on this one, like it says 8.1 and then it gives what he's looking for, and I'll just paste my 8.1 section below it, and I'll leave the top section editor can read to make sure that it's adding up to what quotations are, and then I can the editor just cuts and pastes those into the paper, if that makes sense. Otherwise, does that make sense?
I'm not sure if I'm totally following.
So, like on the Google Doc right now, you know how we have the rubric on there, and it gives like 8.1 says define most favored nation status. So I leave that there. I don't delete it at the end. I just pasting my own writing underneath it, so that way, Andrew, you could look and see what he's expecting, and then what I wrote underneath.
Oh,
it.
I get that. That's a good point. Yeah, so I guess just leave it there so that the editor can make sure that all the parts are there. Good point. Okay, so then.
Okay, so we're leaving what the rubric says on our sections when we copy our stuff in. We don't.
Yep.
I can't remember if I was doing that or not, so I will make
And
sure to
then
do that.
the editor will just have to delete out all his expectations.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Good point. Okay, I mean, I don't know if does anybody else have anything else to say?
I don't think so. I guess for my section is just kind of going to be using what Davis puts together. Is that my understanding, Davis?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll just email you as soon as I'm done.
Sweet.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and so if you guys even want to, I don't know, I mean, if you don't feel like you need to, don't, obviously, but even if you like just send an email to someone saying, hey, this is kind of what I was thinking, blah, 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 and that way you can get started on your, I don't know, you guys do it however you want to, but I just really want to get a good grade on this one, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Andrew, if you want, you and I can just talk a little bit and we can get plans for editing or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, well, I'm going to sign off then. Thank you so much, Andrew.
All right, yep, no problem. We'll see you guys.
Yeah. See you guys.